The combat instructor's kick, designed to incapacitate a Vrexian battle tank, froze mid-air, caught casually in the human student's hand while she was still taking notes with the other. The entire advanced combat theory classroom went silent. Not the respectful silence of students observing a demonstration, but the stunned, disbelieving silence of witnessing something fundamentally impossible. Instructor Korvax, legendary Vraxian warrior with 300 years of undefeated combat experience, stood frozen in a position that should have been impossible to hold. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. His rear leg trembled slightly as he maintained balance on one foot. His other leg extended at full power, caught firmly in the small, unremarkable hand of Emma Johnson, exchange student from Earth. Emma looked up from her datapad, stylus still hovering over her notes. "Sorry, you were saying something about momentum transfer. I want to make sure I get this down right for the exam." The combat sensors embedded in the training room's walls began screaming alerts. Red lights flashed across every monitoring station. In the observation deck above, 3 academy technicians stared at readouts that made no sense whatsoever. That's not possible," whispered Vex Thule, a Krell champion who'd won tournaments across 50 star systems. His scales had gone pale. The instructor's kick velocity was 0.73 light speed equivalent. The impact force would pulverize reinforced titanium. Emma glanced at her hand, still holding Korvax's leg steady, then back at her notes. "Oh, is this part of the demonstration? Should I let go?" Korvax's mandibles clicked rapidly, a Vraxian expression of profound shock. In 3 centuries of teaching this technique, demonstrating what the galaxy considered the pinnacle of close-quarters combat, no one had ever blocked it, not slowed it, not deflected it. Certainly never caught it like someone casually snatching a ball. "How?" Korvax's translator struggled with the tremor in his voice. "Did you perceive the trajectory?" Emma released his leg carefully, looking genuinely confused. "I mean, you shifted your weight to your back leg first, then your hip rotated, shoulder followed, then the kick. It was pretty telegraphed?" She said it like a question, as if worried she'd missed something obvious. The datapad in her other hand displayed neat, color-coded notes on galactic combat theory, Chapter 7, Unavoidable Strike Patterns. She'd been highlighting the section that specifically stated the Vraxian kick was theoretically unblockable due to its speed and the biological limitations of neural response time. Commander Zara burst through the observation deck door, her Andorian antenna rigid with alarm. What in the burning stars just happened? Every sensor in this wing registered a Class 9 combat anomaly. The human, one of the technicians, gestured weakly at Emma, who had returned to taking notes. She blocked the instructor's demonstration. "Strike." "Blocked!" Zara's voice rose an octave. "The sensors show she caught it." "While doing something else, the force calculations show she should have been obliterated." Down in the training room, Emma raised her hand politely. "Excuse me, instructor. I'm a little confused about section 7.3. It says the technique is unavoidable because neural processing takes 0.4 seconds minimum, but that seems really slow. Is that a typo in the translation?" Korvax stared at her. His entire worldview was cracking like ice under pressure. That is, the established biological minimum across all known species, extensively tested. "Huh," Emma made a note. "Okay, so that's a species-specific thing. Got it." She smiled helpfully. "Do you want to try that kick again? I think I blinked the first time and might have missed the setup." "You want me to attempt to kick you again?" "Well, yeah, if it's not too much trouble. I really need to understand this for the exam." Emma set her datapad down on the bench beside her and stood up, brushing imaginary dust off her academy jumpsuit. "I promise I'll pay better attention this time." The other students, 12 representatives from different warrior species, each considered elite in their respective militaries, exchanged glances. Vexithul's tail twitched nervously. A Therian battlemaster named Jotaro had stopped breathing entirely. Very well. Korvax stepped back, reassuming his stance. His mind raced through possibilities. Perhaps she'd been lucky. Perhaps he'd telegraphed the move more than usual. Perhaps there was a sensor malfunction and the strike hadn't been at full power. He would not make that mistake twice. Korvax exploded forward with every gram of power 3 centuries of training provided. His leg moved faster than most species could perceive, cutting through air that ionized from the sheer velocity. The kick would have shattered a bunker wall. Emma caught it again, this time with her left hand, while her right was mid-reach for her water bottle. She took a sip. "Okay, I see it now," she said, lowering the bottle. "You're using your whole body as a kinetic chain, which is really efficient. We do something similar in kickboxing back home, but usually the chamber is tighter to reduce the tell." "Have you tried?" The emergency klaxons started screaming. Commander Zara was already on the comm. "This is Commander Zara to Galactic Military Intelligence. Priority 1 alert. We have a situation with the human exchange student. No, she's not injured. She's the situation." In the training room, Emma had released Korvax's leg and was gesturing enthusiastically, completely oblivious to the alarm. "See, if you compress the chamber like this," she demonstrated, "the opponent gets maybe half the warning time. Might make it more effective." Korvax watched her movement. Even at demonstration speed, it was wrong. All wrong. The efficiency was impossible. The angle violated optimal kinetics. Yet somehow he could see it would work better. How was that possible? "Human Emma," he said slowly, "would you consent to a full contact sparring match?" Emma's face lit up. "Really? That would be super helpful for understanding the practical applications." Then she hesitated. Just to check, you guys know I'm not military, right? I was a barista before the exchange program. I took one self-defense class in college like 6 years ago. I don't want anyone going easy on me just because—" "We will not go easy on you," Vexthul interrupted, stepping forward. His pride was wounded. The Krell had been the galaxy's premier warrior race for 10,000 years. He refused to believe this small, cheerful creature who made coffee beverages for a living could pose any threat. "Awesome," Emma grinned. "Okay, how do we do this?" Commander Zara's voice crackled over the intercom. "Instructor Korvax, I'm authorizing combat protocols. We need to understand what we're dealing with." Full sensor array active. The training room's walls shimmered as advanced monitoring systems engaged. Every possible measurement would be recorded. Neural activity, muscle response, energy output, temporal displacement, quantum probability fields. If Emma Johnson was somehow cheating physics, they would know how. Vexthul stepped into the sparring ring, his massive form radiating confidence. At 7 feet tall and 400 pounds of scaled muscle, he'd crushed opponents across the galaxy. Standard academy rules, first to 3 points or submission. Cool. Emma stepped onto the mat, looking tiny in comparison. She was maybe 5'6", probably weighed 130 soaking wet. She did a couple of casual stretches. "Just, don't feel bad if you need to stop. I don't have health insurance off Earth." Vexthul's laugh rumbled like thunder. "Your concern is noted." The match began. Vexthul struck with a combination that had won him the Krell Dominion Championship 8 times running. His claws moved in a blur, each strike calculated to exploit a different opening. The sequence designed to be literally undefendable. No being could block all vectors simultaneously. Emma dodged them while pulling her hair into a ponytail. Not through special movement, she simply wasn't where the strikes landed. She shifted weight, rolled a shoulder, turned her head, tiny, economical movements that left her perfectly positioned, while Vexthul's claws hit empty air. "Okay, my turn?" Emma asked cheerfully. She tapped him 3 times. Shoulder, ribs, forehead. They weren't even strikes, really, just touches. but they came so fast that the sensors couldn't separate them into distinct events. The system registered it as a single point of contact that somehow existed in 3 places simultaneously. Vexthul stumbled backward, his eyes wide. What? How? Point to Emma, the automated referee system announced, sounding confused. 3 points. Match concluded. Winner, human Emma Johnson. The observation deck had filled with officers. They watched the replay in slow motion, then slower, then frame by frame. She's moving through his attacks, a Therian analyst whispered. Not dodging, moving through. She's predicting each strike before neural impulses leave his brain. That's impossible, someone said. Precognition doesn't exist. Then explain what we just watched. Down in the training room, Emma was helping Vexthul up. You okay? Sorry, I thought those were supposed to be point markers, not actual hits. Did I do it wrong? Vexthul, to his credit, shook his head. No, you did it perfectly. He looked at her with something approaching awe. How long did you train? 6 weeks? The self-defense class was a Tuesday-Thursday thing. Emma looked genuinely apologetic. Is that not enough? I can sit out if— 6 weeks! Commander Zara's voice thundered through the intercom. Human Emma, please remain in the training room. Instructor Korvax, escalate protocols to level 7. I'm calling an emergency session with the Combat Council. Over the next hour, Emma sparred with every elite student in the class. She won every match while progressively doing other things, organizing her schedule, responding to messages, once while eating a sandwich. She wasn't showing off. She genuinely thought she needed to multitask to make efficient use of time. The Academy's combat AI attempted to analyze her fighting style. It crashed. Twice. When Korvax finally called a halt, the observation deck looked like a disaster shelter. Officers from a dozen species stood in various states of shock, watching the small human woman stretch and mention something about grabbing lunch before a xenobiology. We need to understand this, Zara said, her voice tight. Human Emma, would you be willing to answer some questions? Sure. Emma grabbed her datapad and headed up to the observation deck. Is this about the tuition waiver? Because I submitted those forms last week. It's about your combat performance. Emma blinked. Oh, was I not supposed to engage? I'm really sorry if I broke protocol. Everything just kind of made sense once I saw it, you know? A galactic military intelligence officer stepped forward, a being whose species Emma didn't recognize, all sharp angles and crystalline growths. Human Emma, I need you to understand the gravity of this situation. You just defeated 12 of the galaxy's finest warriors, casually, while distracted, with 6 weeks of training. Well, when you put it that way, it sounds impressive. Emma laughed. But I mean, they were clearly going easy on me, right? I appreciate it. I know I'm just a student and— We were not going easy on you. Vexthul's roar made several monitoring systems spike. I was using full combat protocols. I have killed with those strikes. Emma's expression shifted to concern. Oh shit, really? I'm so sorry, I didn't realize this was serious sparring. I thought it was like practice, safe practice. The instructor's kick would have destroyed an armored vehicle, Zara said carefully. You caught it. Twice. Without apparent effort. While taking notes. The kick? Emma thought back. Oh, that. Yeah, it was pretty fast, but I could see it coming. The weight shift gives it away. It's a great technique, though, really powerful. She seemed to realize everyone was staring at her. Is that weird? Did I mess something up? Korvax spoke quietly. Human Emma. That technique has never been blocked, in 300 years of teaching it, against thousands of students from hundreds of species. You are the first to even perceive it, let alone stop it. Oh, Emma processed this. Huh, that's weird. Then, worried. Wait, is this going to affect my grades? I didn't mean to break anything. The intelligence officer pulled up a holographic display. We need to understand human capabilities. Your file says you're from Earth, a planet classified as a death world, class 12, but we assumed that was geological, volcanism, tectonic instability, not this. Death world? Emma looked confused. Earth? It's really nice, actually. We have beaches and mountains and... Your gravity is 0.98 standard, the officer interrupted. That's 30% higher than Vraxian standard. Your atmospheric pressure could crush most species. Your weather patterns include electrical storms that discharge more energy than our combat cruisers. Your ocean predators, he paused. One of your ocean predators, something called a great white shark, could single-handedly defeat most species' ground forces. I mean, you don't usually run into sharks unless you're in the ocean, Emma said reasonably. And there's safety protocols and stuff. Human Emma, Zara's voice was very careful. What else lives on your planet? Lots of things. Bears, wolves, big cats, snakes, spiders, wasps, mosquitoes. Stop. The Tharian analyst looked ill. Each of those is a predator? Well, mosquitoes are parasites technically, and wasps are just assholes. Emma shrugged. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can hurt you. That's why we have hospitals and safety training. And you live among these creatures. They're not like everywhere. We have cities and stuff. Emma was getting more confused by the minute. Do you guys not have animals on your planets? We have animals, Vexthul said slowly. Small ones. Herbivores mostly. Things that run away. Oh, Emma thought about this. That sounds kind of boring, actually. Don't you have, like, wildlife preserves? Zoos? The concept of keeping dangerous predators for observation was abandoned millennia ago across all civilized worlds. Emma pulled out her datapad. Want to see pictures of Earth animals? I have a whole album. She started swiping through images. This is my neighbor's dog. He's a good boy. This is a bear I saw in Yellowstone. Stayed way back, don't worry. This is... A snake that was in my apartment once had to call animal control. This is... That was in your dwelling? Someone shouted. Yeah, but it was just a garter snake, totally harmless. The intelligence officer was pulling up additional data. Humans evolved on a planet where everything is trying to kill them. Environmental hazards, predators, disease, other humans. Your entire species is optimized for survival in conditions that would sterilize most planets. I mean, humans are pretty fragile, actually, Emma said. We're not that tough. Fragile? Korvax's mandibles clicked in disbelief. You caught my kick. Right, but I could still get hurt by it. If you hit me, it would break bones and stuff. If I hit you, you would be vaporized. See? Fragile. The room fell silent as everyone processed the implications. This human genuinely believed she was fragile, weak, despite casually demonstrating combat capabilities that exceeded the galaxy's finest warriors. If this was fragile, what were trained human soldiers capable of? Commander Zara made a decision. I'm calling an emergency session of the Galactic Combat Council. This has implications far beyond one exchange student. She looked at Emma. Would you be willing to demonstrate your basic training for military leadership? I guess. But I really don't have much training. It was just one class. Show us what you learned in that class. Emma pulled up the videos on her datapad, self-defense instruction from a community college on Earth, basic strikes, simple grapples, escape techniques taught to students who might walk alone at night. The Combat Council watched in horror. Every basic technique exploited vulnerabilities that galactic combat doctrine had never considered. Every simple movement demonstrated reaction speeds that military technology couldn't match. Every beginner exercise showed spatial awareness that was considered science fiction. This is taught to civilians, someone whispered. To college students, Emma clarified, like people who just want to feel safer. There's way more advanced stuff for actual martial artists. More advanced. Oh yeah, MMA fighters, special forces, Olympic athletes. Those people are insane. I could never do what they do. The intelligence officer pulled up new data. We have records of human-alien contact in sporting events, boxing matches, wrestling, mixed martial arts. He looked sick. Every human won. We assumed it was a statistical anomaly. Humans are pretty good at sports, Emma said proudly. We get really into competition. Your species evolved in an environment so hostile that your children's games would kill trained warriors from other species. What? No, kids just play tag and stuff. Tag? Yeah, you run around trying to catch each other. It's fun. A Krell military strategist pulled up data on human reaction times required for tag. His scales went pale. This game requires maintaining tracking on multiple, fast-moving targets while executing evasive maneuvers and predictive intercepts. That's advanced combat squad tactics. It's a children's game, Emma repeated, now thoroughly confused about what was happening. Korvac spoke up. Human Emma. When you caught my kick, you said I telegraphed it. What did you mean? Oh, your body language showed what you were about to do. The weight shift, the hip rotation, the shoulder. I moved at 0.73 light speed equivalent. Right, but the setup before that was slower. That's the part you read. The setup was 0.03 seconds. Yeah, that's plenty of time to see it coming. The room erupted in overlapping voices. Emma stood at the center, increasingly worried she'd somehow offended everyone and wasn't sure how to fix it. Commander Zara finally restored order. We need to reevaluate everything. Our combat doctrine, our threat assessments, our understanding of biological possibility. She looked at Emma. You've been at this academy for 3 months. In that time, have you felt challenged by any of the combat training? Emma hesitated. I mean, I don't want to sound arrogant, but it feels pretty basic. I figured you were just starting slow for the new students. This is the advanced program. Students here have trained for years, decades for some species. Oh, Emma looked genuinely apologetic. I didn't mean to imply. I'm sure there's tons of stuff I don't understand. The theory is really interesting, and the cultural context of different fighting styles is fascinating. I'm learning a lot. But the physical execution, that part feels intuitive. Like I see an attack coming. I know where the openings are. It just makes sense. Vexthul laughed, a bitter sound. The Krell have bred warriors for 10,000 years. Genetic selection for combat prowess, generational training, and a human barista with 6 weeks of instruction defeats me while eating lunch. I wasn't eating lunch. That was just a sandwich, Emma said helpfully. Then, wait, are you okay? You seem upset. Upset? No. I'm experiencing a philosophical crisis. Everything I believed about combat effectiveness was wrong. The intelligence officer was typing furiously. I'm requesting all data on human military capabilities. If their untrained civilians can do this, their actual soldiers. He trailed off, looking haunted. Oh, you guys should talk to my brother, Emma brightened. Jake's a Marine. He does the crazy stuff. Urban combat training, hand-to-hand instruction, all that. He could probably answer your questions way better than me. Your brother is military. Yeah, he's stationed on... Actually, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say where. Operational security and stuff. She smiled. But he posts videos of his training sometimes. Want to see? The next 20 minutes destroyed centuries of military theory. Jake Johnson, it turned out, was an instructor at a Marine Corps close combat training school. His videos showed techniques for fighting in zero-G, in hostile atmospheres, against multiple opponents with improvised weapons. Every movement was precise, efficient, and completely overwhelming. And the comments below the videos were other humans discussing the techniques, offering improvements, sharing their own training experiences. There were millions of humans like Jake, millions who trained in combat professionally, and billions like Emma, regular people who just happened to be optimized by evolution for survival on a planet that treated killing as casual entertainment. We're lucky they like us, someone whispered. Commander Zara stood up. New protocols, effective immediately. All Earthborn students are to be evaluated using entirely different standards. Combat instructors will develop new curriculum accounting for human capabilities, and we are formally requesting Earth-send military liaisons to help us understand what we're dealing with. Is this going to affect my financial aid? Emma asked nervously. We're going to offer you a full scholarship and a consulting position, Zara said. Also probably hazard pay for everyone who has to spar with you. Emma laughed. You guys are funny. It's really not that big a deal. But it was. The entire galaxy was about to learn that humans had been politely holding back in every interaction, not out of strategy, but because they were taught that using their full capability on beings not evolved for Deathworld survival was considered rude. The Combat Council spent the next 6 hours in emergency session. New classifications were created. Deathworld Baseline became a formal tactical designation. Every military academy in the galaxy began reviewing curriculum, and Emma Johnson went to her next class, Xenobiology, taught by a Therian professor who'd just received a memo that one of his students could accidentally kill everyone in the room if startled. She arrived 3 minutes early, coffee in hand, completely unaware that she'd revolutionized galactic military theory. Morning, Professor Jotaro. She sat down in her usual seat, pulling out her notes. Did you get a chance to look over my paper on Earth biodiversity? I added a section on ocean ecosystems, really fascinating stuff. We have these things called orcas that hunt in packs and are smart enough to teach each other new techniques. Apex predators, super cool. Professor Jotaro stared at the human who just described creatures that hunted in coordinated groups and innovated tactics. The human who thought this was super cool rather than absolutely terrifying. Yes. I read your paper. Great. I was worried it might be too long. I got excited and wrote like 20 pages. Emma grinned. Anyway, I'm ready for today's lecture. As Jotaro began discussing cellular biology, Emma took notes with the same cheerful enthusiasm she showed for everything. Behind her, 2 warrior species students sat rigidly, newly aware that the friendly human who'd borrowed their notes last week could probably kill them both in the time it took to blink. She'd brought homemade cookies to share. Earth cookies, made with Earth ingredients, probably nutritious by Deathworld standards. Everyone took one, very politely. After class, Emma headed to the cafeteria, humming to herself. She passed a group of advanced combat students running drills in the corridor. One of them executed a technique incorrectly, leaving their stance unbalanced. Hey, Emma called out cheerfully. Your base is too narrow. You're going to throw your back out that way. Here, try it like this. She demonstrated the proper form while balancing her coffee, backpack, and a container of leftover pasta. The students stared in awe as she corrected centuries-old technique with casual expertise. See? Much more stable? You'll get better power transfer too. Emma smiled brightly. And don't forget it. Proper form prevents injuries. Trust me, I've seen enough pulled muscles working the espresso machine. She walked away, leaving 5 elite warriors to stare at each other in silence. From a nearby observation window, Instructor Korvax watched her go. Commander Zara stood beside him. We're lucky they like us, Korvax repeated Vexthul's earlier words. Yes, Zara agreed. We really, really are. In the distance, Emma Johnson, barista, exchange student, Deathworld survivor, whistled a cheerful tune and wondered if the cafeteria would have decent salad today. The galaxy would never be the same, and she had no idea.